Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adding It All Up. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm going to report today from my office because it is tax season and I am in full swing and trying to get through all my returns still. Last night was so much fun for those of you that were on the live. I really appreciate all your support and help in this time. I did not have a chance to do my video until just now, but I promised you I would talk to you in plain English. What does the CPI report really mean and what is it going to do? Let's just say it was not good, which is fine. But like people say, we've got to have a plan, right? You have to have a plan. So if you like this kind of content, I'm going to try to be doing a little bit more of it. I also do budgeting and stuff like that too. But I feel like this is really important and pertinent to the time. So if you have not heard, which I'm sure you have because it's 9 o'clock here where I'm at now, basically the consumer price index is up, but we already knew that, right? We already knew that there was a huge increase for year over year, which is, if you look at it, it's 8.3%, for seasonal adjustment, before the seasonal adjustment. So what does that mean? Last year at this time, everything this year cost 8.3, pretty much like what it was. We were expecting it to be smaller. They were hoping the inflation was coming down, but it actually didn't. So as you saw, the markets fell today. It was crazy on the stock market. I was getting phone calls all day long. The biggest one that I would tell you that I saw here was in the energy sector, the energy commodities sector, which is like your gas, your oil, electricity, that kind of thing. It is completely up like crazy. And we all know that because we've had, it is that way. Gas though, like for gas for our cars are down. I mean, this time last year, we were paying almost $5 a gallon for gas, $4 and some change. Some places $4.25, some places $3.99. Obviously it's down because in my area right now it's $3.30, I think, $3.35 for oil. So that really helped save this consumer price index, basically, what the inflation rate was. Now, I don't believe that the Fed is being 100% honest with us, or I shouldn't say the Fed, but the government is being 100% honest with us, because I don't know about you all, but I feel like everything has increased, right? Our groceries have increased, our housing has increased, our utilities have increased. Everything has pretty much increased across the board, except with the exception of gas for the last month or so. So, Sarah, what does that really mean for me? So first things first, your food. So we got to think about that. So it did raise, it's 11% total. At home, it was 13.5%. And like, Christy said last night, she paid $4 for a little bitty thing. And, a year ago it was $2. So it does matter. I mean, food away from home rose 8% over last year. So if you kind of look at your budget and look at what you're budgeting, you should have about a 10% increase on everything. And the reason I know that is not necessarily correct is because $4 to $2 is not it's not an 8% over last year, right? Like that's way higher than 8% over last year. It's like 100% over last year. So when you look at those things, it is kind of crazy to think that it's that much. And why is it so important? Because your dollar this year is only buying, like, let's be honest. So your dollar this year is only buying 92 cents of what it bought last year. So your dollar last year was worth more than it is today. It really does matter, especially when you have CDs and interest rates out there at 2%, which means the inflation rate is 3.8. When you look at that, that means that if your money is in the bank, you're losing money to inflation at this point, so it's 6% almost, a little bit more than that. I can't do the math in my head real quick because I've been working all day and I'm so tired. But I just wanted to let you guys know, like, that's crazy, right? To think that my money is losing money in the bank, even at a 2% interest rate. If you go to Ally Bank or, even Capital One 360, there's teaser rates out there and everything, but you're really not getting the interest rate. You're not keeping up with inflation, right? You're not keeping up with the inflation rate. So that's why it's so important that we look at this consumer price index, because the Fed is going to look at the consumer price index, right? So what does that mean? So Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Fed, and I'm sure you've heard his name before, he will increase the interest rates, right? So he's stating that there's probably going to be a 99% chance that he is going to raise it by 0.75% this next month in October. He actually comes out and says that he was planning on raising it at 0.5 or 0.75 depending on how bad the inflation rate was. Well, we're still at an 8%. Guys, the last time it was like this was in May of 1979. That's huge. And that is for, let's see, what was that for? Yeah, that was for the food index. So food is very important. I mean, I call that the four corners, like your four square. So your house, your transportation, your food, and your health. If you don't have those four things, those are the basic necessity of life. I want you to understand that they hit all four sectors. So inflation has hit your basic needs for life, right? Your insurance has gone up. That was a 24% increase over last year. Your food has gone up. That was 11% increase over last year. Housing has gone up. That is, I want to say it was like a 3%. I have to double check here because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, because I have been looking at this thing all day long. Shelter, 6.2%. So that went up, right? But we know 6.2% is incorrect, because I have people telling me, Sarah, they just raised my rent like $200 a month. They were only paying $650. So that is way more than a 6.2% increase. The other thing is that when you look at that, so food, gas went down, right? But automobiles went up. That's your transportation. So they were hoping that this Fed increasing the rates would actually increase the interest to kind of slow, to have some more stuff out there in production. A new car went up 10% comparative to last year. A used car is up 7.8%. And we all know it's gone up more than that, than last year. Most people I know were selling their cars because they were making $10,000 to $20,000 on their cars, but they couldn't find a car. So some people sold them, some people didn't. It just depended. So if you look at that, they hit all four of our, what I call the four square, like what you need to live in life. So everybody is hurting on this, like not just one sector is hurting. So all of everything has gone up. Everything has gone up. But I don't want this to be like doom and gloom, you guys. There is ways you can do. You can do savings challenges. You can look at your budgets. You can know and name every dollar for your dollar. You can look at things and say, hey, I know Christmas comes around every year, right? Like, I want to do some Christmas stuff. I'm doing some Christmas stuff. I'm sinking a fund away. You can use sinking funds. You can use those kind of funds to help you budget. You just need to name your dollar. Be like, hey, Mr. Benjamin, you would look really good in the automobile maintenance fund. So put that in that sinking fund. I do a sinking fund for my insurance right now on my autos and the personal property tax I have to pay on my autos. So it gets sucked out of my bank account and goes straight in there. I never even see it. And except for when the bill comes for State Farm, right? It comes and sucks out of my bank account. And then when I have to pay my PPT, my personal property tax on my vehicles, I have money in the bank account to pay that. So it's like grandma used to say, save for a rainy day, right? The Thank God It's Friday fund, the rainy day fund. That's another way my grandma used to call it, is the rainy day fund, because you never knew when it was going to rain. So she just always saved a little bit of money in the background, for her. So these are things that we can do, and this is why we need to do it. So if you look at like the medical care, new vehicles, used trucks, house furnishings, the only thing that kind of came down was honestly oil, airfares, and communication. Everything else was up, 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 up compared to last month, compared to last year. Guys, people have asked me, like, when do you think this is going to end? It could possibly end sooner than later, but I'm going to go with later. It's going to take at least, if not 3 to 4 years to get out of this cycle. So don't be scared. Try to get what you need to get, involved in. Again, your savings challenges, your funds, paying off the high interest rate debts. When these rates go into effect next year or next month with the Fed, it's going to increase your variable rates. So anything that you had, it's going to be a lot more money, in interest. I have a HELOC loan right now on my personal property because our basement flooded and we got a loan, and it's through a HELOC because it was cheaper. Well, it was cheaper at the time, but now with the interest rates rise, I'm locking in my rate, right? Like I already locked in my rate because I knew this was going to happen. So I went ahead and locked in my rate so that I didn't have a floating rate anymore. And so it'll be paid off in 15 years, probably sooner than that. But, if you have a HELOC right now, you might want to look into locking it in because the rate isn't going to go down on home mortgages at this point. We're going to see, they're hoping that this 0.75 will actually slow down the rate of, home prices. You guys, even when I was in real estate, even 0.5% would put some people out. Like they couldn't buy the house they wanted to anymore. So there's a big concern that there is not affordable housing at this point, and the prices are not going down. They're only going up. And so unless you live in an area that, isn't experiencing the high growth inflation like we are, you might not want to live in that area probably, because it's probably not good for your kids, and it's probably not someplace that you want to be with your kids or with your family. It's just how it is. But if your homes are going up, 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 yeah, I mean, you got to think about where you're going to go, it's sad, but it's true. I mean, it's one of the reasons we moved here, where I'm living now, because we didn't want to be in Illinois anymore. It was so expensive to live in Chicago. And, we could make a better life for ourselves here in Michiana because it was cheaper, and it is cheaper to live here. But, there's also a thing with the wages and stuff too. Like people have to pay more in Illinois for an employee than they do here in Indiana, so there are some trade-offs, but you guys, the consumer price index is very telling of what's going to happen. I tell people it's just a historic view, right? It's a historic view of what's happening so that you can see how your money is actually looking and how it's working. So be strategic when you're like looking at this stuff. Don't be scared. Just, make a plan and stick to it. And I would say make a budget and stick to it. You can only cut so much out of your budget before you don't have much of anything left. But you can always create a side hustle. I just heard this morning that Target is hiring at $22 an hour for seasonal help. Hello, sign me up. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, $22 an hour for seasonal help? That's Christmas money, right? Like you work 3 hours, that's $66. Amazon just came out and said that they're increasing the driver prices so that they can keep their drivers for Christmas. Amazon Flex. I mean, use the Flex app, to make a little extra money. Instead of, binge watching your favorite Big Brother show or, anything like that, you can use it to educate yourself. Like go and get like a book to read about, inflation or something that'll help you understand what's going on right now in the world. So other than that, I just wanted to come on here and say that really quick for you guys. I love all of you. Thank you to everybody that has made it to the end. If you did make it to the end, if you can leave a little emoji, that's for my amethyst friend. If you can leave a little emoji in my comments, I'd appreciate it. And then also I am getting close to 100 subscribers. So as soon as I hit 100 subscribers, I will do a giveaway. I'm almost there, guys. So if you know of anybody that wants to subscribe to my channel, please share my channel. I appreciate it so much. Everyone have a great night. And tomorrow is a new day. And we are just going to let this ride, but we are going to make plans, right? We're going to make plans to get out of debt, and we're going to make plans to assign every dollar in our budget. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.